Thank you, Sam, for being here. Thank you for your time. I'm truly, truly happy to meet you, to get to know you. How are you? How was your day?
Good, good, great. Just helping a buddy do a deck yesterday, and it was Charlotte, North Carolina. So working out there in 95 degrees. I'm a little whooped today.
Wait, you're in Charlotte, North Carolina?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm in
Okay.
a little south in Stanfield.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. I did some real estate marketing in Jacksonville and Wilmington, Onslow County. So that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, I so want to get a beach house.
Oh yeah, Hampton. Oh, I get that.
Well,
I get that. Hopefully. So
well, I was thinking Wilmington or Myrtle's just kind of overdone. So somewhere not Myrtle.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Myrtle's a little bit. I get what you're saying, but for me, it's Surf City's where is that? Right? Surf City's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, well, Wilmington. Well, Charleston's not a bad little area too.
Well, Charlotte. Well, NC represent. You're the second guest from North Carolina. Well, technically third because we had Isaiah Carr in the previous episode. He was from North Carolina, but he operates in LA. So, are you
Okay.
still operating in NC?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It's funny. We moved to North Carolina to have better opportunities for real estate, and everything that I currently own is in Mississippi. So that's kind of weird.
That's how it works, I guess. Except for her top. She got stuff too.
Oh, okay. I getcha. I have so many questions now. So excited as always. But I want to ask first the question that I ask every single guest because I believe the audience wants to know, and I want to know as well. Who is Sam? Right? Who is Sam outside of the professional world? Who are you?
Sam is a guy, just a modest guy that loves to help people, give you the shirt off his back. Just blue collar labor. Never had any of the real, high paying technical skills. Just everything has been, learned from doing, from the street, from somebody else showing me, and just an all around, some people say I'm a big jokester. You never know if I'm serious or not, but I guess you take that for face value.
Well, I don't get that at all. I think you're very well. First impressions, you're very. I feel very relaxed. I feel very at home with you. So I do get
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're willing to help.
That's how I look at real estate. It's how you gotta look. Like everyone gets so nervous. I gotta talk to a broker. It's just a conversation with two people. What's the worst thing he's gonna say? No, there's 20,000 other brokers. Somebody may say yes. It's just a conversation. Nothing to get worried about.
Right, exactly. Well, we'll get into how your strategy is, and I'm getting a glimpse in like how you deal with people. That's good. Well, that's good for the beginners. But tell me something that is, tell me something about you that not a lot of people know. Maybe a fun fact about yourself.
Usually, I will always like to start at the bottom. Even if I have an opportunity to come in at the top, I feel the more value is at the bottom. So I want to learn that first before I kind of, know what the top value could be. So I think I would like to just come in at the bottom, under the radar. Just even though it looks like we got all this stuff, I want to look like I have.
Gotcha. Fundamentals. I do 100% agree. Even if you're on the top already, let's not forget the fundamentals, like our foundation, right? Going back to that. Recently, um, I remember I was interviewing someone as well, and I forgot what I forgot what it was, but like a core term in real estate. And I was like, can't believe I forgot that. So that's very important. But for you, was it about that? Was it about just are you do you try to start it from the bottom because of that, because of the fundamentals, or do you start from the bottom because you want to go against the grain? What is it for you? Why do you start from the bottom?
I think it's more of a learning thing for me. I'm more of like I need to see it done and then do it myself along with somebody before I take it on by myself. I can't, for some reason, like you can tell me how to do something. Okay. Until I see it and do it alongside with you, it takes a little bit to click. So I think it's more of I can't see the top because I don't know how you got there. And I'm never going to be able to get there if I just jump right in and go, okay, this is how I got to the top. Okay. I can't do it. So I need to start down here.
Right. You can't see a lot of the details from the top. You got to start from the base to see everything that's going on. I get that. That's really good philosophy. Starting from the bottom, how did you get started? Tell us your story. You can go into detail if you want. Your entire story. How did you start? Like maybe growing up, and how did you get here?
Well, grew up with a single mom who had epilepsy and had her own issues, and she did the best she can. She's an amazing mom. So always lived in an apartment, never had a house. Would always go to friends' house, and they're like, how come you never bring your friend over? Well, we live in an apartment. Not doing that. High school. You know how that is, right? Yeah, I'm not even starting that. that shit. But kids were brutal enough for people that lived in houses. So just kind of, always had, first job was at Kmart. You guys, people still remember Kmart. Kind of aging myself a little bit. I kind of miss Kmart. Then grocery stores, and then just kind of just always, got into U-Haul and just kind of just, labor jobs here and there all through, um, up till I graduated, and then came down to actually Charlotte area right out of high school with my best friend, and same thing, rolled into carpet cleaning jobs and warehouse jobs. Got a little homesick, went back to New York, and then I stayed there and, got married, had a child, just still all doing labor jobs, nothing real crazy. Got divorced, met another lady, kind of rolled the marriage divorce thing, but now I'm on my third and best and final. So she's amazing. We've been together 14 years. Just doing real estate together now, so it's been crazy. But how it really all got started is, a few years back, my wife's mother passed, and we were fortunate enough to have some inheritance too. So we went out and bought two houses in cash. Two houses in. We were at that time living in Syracuse, New York, so upstate New York, and thought we were, doing good. Okay, so well, the money was in an account, and then we started watching the market, and I'm like, oh, we better pull this because this market looks like we're gonna tank. This is pre-COVID, so everyone's like, oh, just buy real estate, buy real estate. So we bought two houses, bought them in cash, and then so we're going through that, and we're going through, and then I stumbled across Pace Morby on YouTube. And that's right. And I showed him to Heather. I'm like, hey, I've been watching this guy, and he does this creative stuff with real estate. It's like, according to him, we bought our houses wrong. We never should have bought them in cash. We should have just, put a loan on them and or got them, sub two and seller finance them, because the guy we bought them from owned them outright. So that would have been just a straight sell, which probably would have been the smarter way to do it. Since, we did them with him without a realtor anyways, it was just, private sale. And she's like, I like this guy. So we started following him, and then the following year that we bought the houses, the IRS was like, hey, you got this money and you bought houses, and guess how much you owe us now? We're like, huh? What? So had to do a DCSR loan on one of the houses to pay the tax man. So I was like, well, we're never doing that again. Next time we buy a house, we ain't paying full cash for it. Because if you listen to Pace and then you really, like, in your own personal life, do a deep dive, your money is truly trapped. It's not like you just can't go to a bank and say, hey, I own this house. I want this much money out. And they're like, okay, well, what's your credit score? What's your job? How long you been? And I'm like, dude, I don't do nothing. I own a house. That's all I do. I don't work, So, well, that I did. Now I don't. But so, so we did that, and then at that time, I was working for a carpet cleaning guy, and he offered me a chance to take over his business because he was retiring and moving to Florida. So I took over the business, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was paying the bills. And then COVID came along, so had to shut that down. So we shut that down, and the rent on the property was the house was paying for itself with a little bit of extra. So I was like, I got to get a job. So got lucky, got onto the school district. So I was a bus attendant for special needs for the local school district. And then Heather by trade is an RN, so got her into the school as a school nurse. So that just worked out great because all our kids are older. So, they were already out doing their own thing. So we did that for, 4 or 5 years. Took the one house that we had, our maintenance man, single dad, was like, hey man, I want to know how you guys do this. So, explain to him how we, originally did it. And then he's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get a house. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, how about we sell or finance you a house so that you and your son can have the opportunity to have a house, and you don't, because he's worked for himself. So he can't go to he probably could qualify a little bit, but it was hard to without a W-2. So we sold him the house. He gave us, he was able to put $20K down, and he's been paying ever since. So it's working pretty good. And he's, got himself a house now for him and his son. And it felt good. It felt good to help somebody else. Cause I know that, eventually that's where I wanted to head, was work for myself. And we chose real estate as the vehicle to do it. So that's going good. And then we like you said, we were in the Payson. So we had an opportunity from a wholesaler to buy a house. It was about 2.5 hours north of where we were up in Messina, almost by Canada. And we were able to get that sub too. I was like, oh wait, we were just learning about all this. We just joined. We could do our first house. So we got that house, took over a 3% mortgage rate. The payment was like $800 a month. It was a $14,000 entry, so super cheap to get into. So we did the deal, and we went and saw the house, and the seller was showed us the house. I was like, hey, we're all going to be out of here before you close, but there might be some stuff left over. I'm like, I don't care. I'll just get a dumpster, throw it in the dumpster now. So we closed, and then the day we closed, he got his little bit, and he's gone. We go, like, hey, I left the key here, for you. So we drove up there, and something told me, like, just knock on the door. I want to make sure everybody's gone. We just want to barge in, right? Here comes the girlfriend. No one told me anything. I wasn't. He's my husband. And we have a child. I'm like, oh, here we go. Okay, here's the first thing that no one told us about. So, ended up dealing with the squatter, but it was New York. Like, oh, she's gonna be here for years without paying. Luckily, I think it was 5 months that we had to just deal with it, and she was out, and that we had to evict her, go through the process, and shut up, leave it on her own. Did it destroy the place? Took most of the garbage. I was like, okay, that worked out really good. And then I subbed out the floors, but I went in and painted it, did some stuff myself, just a small cosmetic, really rehab, painted the porch, did some window work, and then we just turned around and sold it. And we were able to make enough to where, so we had the chance to move to Charlotte, and we found our house down here some too. So we got this beautiful 2-story, 21 build house in a private neighborhood that the lady was going through some foreclosure issues. So we were able to help her out. So we took over a 3% mortgage for $40K down on a $400,000 house. And yeah, so we a friend of mine that we met through Sub 2 said, "Hey, I got a guy that might lend on that." So like, hey, we're selling this house. We're just waiting to close. So he lent us the $40K, and we just put it into where he would just get paid at closing. When we closed the other house, wasn't even 3 weeks we had the money, and it was done. So he covered us to close on this. They closed on that. Everyone got paid back, and we still walked away with a little bit of money. So I mean, it was still nice, but we basically upgraded, and then we moved down here, sold our primary house, and bought a mobile home park in Mississippi.
Oh wow, didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's just where the deal happened. So I was like, so we're able to get that seller finance too. It was just a hybrid deal. So he had a note on it for $300K. So we took over that note Sub 2. So now we're making his payments to his lenders, and then seller financed the little portion of equity that he had to him. So we're in the process of doing that. I met our first Charlotte meetup that we had when we moved here. Chad Glover was running it in Charlotte. We went there, and I met this amazing lady, Paris Morgan, and she was like, "Hey, so we started talking like, hey, she was, I'm looking for a house Sub 2. You got to tell me about it." She was, I'm looking in this area and this area of Charlotte. So I just kept blasting her house after house after house after house, see if she ever got one. So we went to the next meeting, right? It was once a month. So we went to the next meeting, and I was like, hey, I got this opportunity on this park. And I knew she was a Gator because she had told me. So I was like, you want to lend on? She goes, you've been blasting me with all these houses, and I've never had a chance to even do half. She goes, I don't want to lend on it. How about we just partner?
Oh, cool.
That works. All right. Yep. I'm up for that. So we partnered and bought the park together. And, it has its challenges. It's Mississippi. It's a mobile home park. It's, the owner that we got it from and the previous owner really didn't do much to it. It was kind of just, take their little bit of money, never fix anything. So, you go in and you do one thing for one tenant, and it's like now everyone's got the laundry list of, oh my God, we need all this stuff done, and we know you're going to fix it. So now you're in that game with all these trailers are older. So it's just trying to do the right thing, but you do have to, take into consideration it is a business. You can't just spend all your money fixing everything and still only get $500 a month. The math just doesn't math. So we're in that, we'll say not problem, but it's just we're trying to figure it out how to be the best that we can be, but yet have the tenants respect us enough to where they're not trying to take advantage either. So we're selling our other rental that we had up in New York, and I'm turning around and just happened to be in Mississippi again. Ran into a guy that is selling his pressure washer business. So I'm buying that creative finance where 45K, which is pretty much the trailer. It's a pressure washer trailer, and the name of the business because it's already established, and the customer list. $5K down, $800 a month for 4 years. Can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong with a deal like that. He's already got 200 customers. It's just drive to Mississippi and plug and play for a while. So it's just, and then just the opportunity is just, and I think if I was never in sub 2, never found pace, never just, taking the leap of, let's just do it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You'll have a property that you'll have to sell. You're never going to lose. You just might suffer till you get to the payout window, and it's been a blessing ever since. So now I can retired. We retired from the school district. Well, that retire last, and to retire to live the dream.
Gotcha. Well, that's you mentioned the word blessing, and now that's exactly what I was about to say. Right? It's like you're very blessed to have all of that opportunities, and I think it's wonderful that your trigger. Correct me if I'm wrong. The trigger was really helping, right? Now I believe that was the first kind of like thing you were like, I want to do real estate because this helps people. Am I correct in that one?
Yep, exactly.
That's great. Well, talk to me about. Well, you mentioned your first deal. Talk to me about your most interesting deal. So whether good or bad, like the most challenging, something with a funny story, maybe.
I would say this mobile home park is probably the most interesting deal because it's like questions that I probably should have asked before we bought that I didn't really learn about till after we bought. If I would have done it different, I would have been like, all right, I'm not 100% sure I may have bought this park, but so it's interesting because in Mississippi, now we were under assumption we buy the park, it comes with the land, the trailers, and everything. Well, it's not how it works. In Mississippi, the trailers are personal property, and they're separate from the land. So we had to have bought the trailers in addition to the land. So when we go and we get the tax bill, or the guy says, hey, we went down to try to deal with the tax, and they're like, you guys don't own these trailers. I'm like, okay, but we're renting them and we're collecting money. And on the other hand, I'm like, good, you're all car. I don't have to fix them. I own them. Great. I love it. You got to keep them. I'll just take the land. And then, so they're like, you have to get a bill of sale from the person you guys got the land from. So we try to do that, and this guy tries to slip in an additional note for $50K for I'm like, well, wait a minute, what? I'm like, we were under assumption that the $300K that we took over included the trailer. Nope, and this is what. So I'm like, well, guess what? We ain't buying your trailers. We'll just start sending you a lot rent bill for them being on our land, and then you can fix them, and you can take the difference of whatever we're renting them for. I don't care. Ghost, complete. It's been a complete ghost ever since. So I'm like, well, I guess at this point we'll just keep charging because they got to have a place to live. So we'll just keep charging, and we'll just keep sending the payments like we're supposed to be sending, and then figure it out at the end of the 3 years. Because technically, you don't really want the trailers. It's easier for me just to put in something next to the trailer.
Yes.
This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to do like tiny homes.
Yeah, build on it.
And RVs, right? And then just say, okay, you guys want your opportunity to own your own home? We'll just move you over to here. And then just put a fence up, and the trailers can sit there and rot until they decide to either give them to us, take them off, or just say, just here, we're going to pay to have them destroyed. Okay. And then, so it's a fine walk. It's interesting. Anybody has any advice, I'm open to it. because I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to pull this off without, you know, trying to eat another 50K.
In mobile homes, there's a lot of layers in that, and your experience is very telling of that. So it's very complicated, and that's why a lot of people don't get into it. But actually, that niche. There's a lot of things people don't look into because it's complicated, right? Same with co-living as well. Co-living is coming up, right? And I believe mobile homes are coming up. All of this to ask you, what's your niche? What niche are you looking at? Are you just like jumping on every opportunity, or like are you going on a niche?
I did. Like I had the shiny object center. Oh, we gotta get some single family homes. Oh, now we gotta get a park. Oh, now we gotta get an RV park. Now we gotta get a multifamily. Now we gotta get a business. I really need to hone in. Like I need to concentrate on the park, get that to where it's profitable, up running itself, and then build this business. I think that needs to be my niche. Is to kind of hone in and build what I've already got before I go jump into the next project.
Gotcha. So that's actually interesting because your interesting story was with the mobile homes, and that you kind of want to niche in that. We just said it's very complicated. I like that. Tackle it head on, right? And again, it's coming up. It really is. Well, I've been wanting to ask this with your story. You're originally from New York. You're not from you're not originally from the Tar Heel state.
No.
Okay.
And everyone's so friendly. And it's just total opposite.
Right. It's the middle ground, right? NC is the middle ground of like just country enough, right? Country enough, but city enough too.
South enough to not be, well, I've been in Mississippi and pretty south there. So.
That's true. Well, what was it? Now I'll get deep into your journey now. Did you know that you were going into, I don't want to say real estate, just business and entrepreneurship when you were young? Or did you just ride with it and saw the opportunity? Were you always that person who seizes opportunities, or did you see your vision?
I always wanted to work for myself from when, probably from after high school on. Up until high school was just like, oh, you just do what everybody else does. But I just never had the means or the opportunity, or let's say the knowledge. I mean, opportunities were there all over the place. I just didn't know they existed. So really it was the knowledge. And that all came by, watching this person and watching that person, but it really all clicked together with stumbling on the pace and then just being like, okay, the everyday person can really do this. You just got to know how. So it's not like it was only for the rich. It's just the rich were the only ones that had the knowledge. So it really just, and they don't teach you that in school. I mean, my thing is what I would love to do is, and this is funny because I have another opportunity. It's like, see, I can't stay away from it. They just follow me. But I have an opportunity obviously it's in Mississippi because that's where everything comes from right now, is to buy a commercial building creatively to where the only competition is McDonald's and Burger King. The guy that's selling it to me moved him and his wife have a clothing line. He did coffee and ice cream, hand dipped ice cream in $6, espresso coffees. They moved all that to a bigger town. He's like, dude, the coffee and the ice cream make a killing. I don't know if you've heard of Tracy Gunn in Charlotte. She has the candy store. She's talking to her about opening, a candy shop there, and then renting spaces to the people that do like antiques and stuff there. And I'm thinking, and the place is right next to a high school. I'm like, imagine if you could have, instead of like rent a little bit, have a space for like a canteen and have these high schoolers come in, work, sell the ice cream, sell the candy, work in that, but then be able to teach them the stuff that they're not going to learn in school. Hey, this is how you balance a checkbook. This is how you can get real estate. This is how you do this. This is how they're not going to learn that in college. They're not going to learn that in high school. And just say, bring up the next group that say, hey, this is how, I had to go through, 40 years of all this stuff where now you can just jump right into it if you want to and not be in debt, not have the college loans, not have to, be in credit card debt, all that stuff. You just learn right from here you go and teach that. Have people come in, have just, whether we just do podcasts, say, hey, this guy's going to teach you this. Watch this podcast for an hour before you go, and then get some ice cream and go home. Type of thing. But just, because you think about it, who once we're gone, who's going to do all this? It's the next group that's coming up, and nobody's teaching them how to do it. They're going through the same path we went through, the same path that our parents went through. No, go to college, get a job, work your job for 50 years, and then you hopefully live your life out on whatever you've saved, which is nothing because nobody ever said.
That doesn't work anymore, right? Really, it's that strategy. That strategy has been I think my parents also called me crazy when I didn't believe that strategy 20 years ago, and I was like, it's 100% happening now, right? So nothing against education, of course. Education is always, but there's different forms of education now where it's free. And Pace Morby, man, Pace Morby is the great equalizer. So I would say he's a great equalizer. But there's an argument. I would like to argue with Pace, if I had the opportunity, that he says the everyday person, right? He says the everyday person can do this. But for me, everybody who's been on this podcast, of course, including you, Sam, I think you guys are special, right? That's my argument to Pace, right? He lays it out, but you have to have something. It doesn't have to be a talent, could be worked on. But I believe the moment you decide and act on something bigger than you, taking that opportunity, I believe you're no longer an everyday person in that case, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Do you believe in talent versus skill? Or I believe you were special from the beginning, you just didn't know.
No, I don't think I was special from the beginning. I think that truly the everyday person, and it's not a talent, it's not a skill. It's just, hey, I want to be better. I'm going to put the time and the effort into it. Without time and effort, which everybody has, you can make it happen. It's the people that say, oh, this doesn't work for me. It's because, well, did you put the time in? Well, no, I got busy. This happened, that happened. Well, okay. Well, did you follow the steps? Oh, no, life happened. Then that's why it's not that you weren't special, that you didn't put in the time. You didn't put in the effort. That's all it is. It's time and effort. Time, effort, and action. If you could research a deal, and that's what I was doing. I was chasing, I got to watch every video, and I got to find a deal. I got to go through everything. I was like, you know what? My biggest turnaround, when I stopped chasing deals, and this has probably been within the last maybe 8 months. Well, 8 months to a year. I stopped chasing deals and I started chasing relationships. Once I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring you value. And if I get value out of it, great. If I don't, at least I have the knowledge of what you have. Once I started making the relationships and just be, hey, any way I can help you, let's do it. That's when I took off. That's when the part came. That's when, this came. Now, I don't know how to say it without being, a jerk, but people say, how do you get your deals? I don't. I wake up and I open my phone and it's, look at this. Check this out. Hey, what do you think about this? And it's all day of just scrolling through my phone of, okay, who can I help? Who needs this answered? Is this a good deal? Something I want to be on, something I can bring to somebody else. And that all came by just making the relationships. Hey, Sam's a good guy. He'll help you out. He'll do this. He'll do that. Or he'll connect you with somebody that can't. And everyone's like, the whole argument now is, hey, how come you're not charging a fee? For what? To pass the phone number along? Whatever. Some more down the road, someone's going to say, hey, Sam hooked me up with this guy. He never charged me. I'm going to hook him up with this guy that can help him. That's all. Everyone's worried about, what do they call it? The connector fee. Whatever. It is what it is, bro.
You're very purpose driven, I would say, because we had a person here, Chris Oldenburg, who's impact driven. I believe you're purpose driven. So if he's impact driven, you're purpose driven. Like these are, you guys are contributing a lot into the industry, sorry, into the community. And I believe, genuinely, I believe that this is what, again, this podcast is about, to show people like you guys are real people, and like you saying on this podcast that it's not a skill, not a talent. It's everybody can do it, right? In that case, I won't argue with Pace Morby anymore.
It's just the why. You just got to have the why. You got to have the courage to pull the trigger. And you may fail. You may not. But if you don't take that first step, you're never going to know. And then you're going to be one of the ones that, oh, it's not for me, or I couldn't do it.
You didn't do it, right? You didn't do it. It's not that you couldn't. You didn't.
Do it. Right. You just didn't. Right. Yep.
Well, with the connector fee, you don't want to take the connector fee, okay? How about coaching? You ever thought about coaching?
Recently I've thought about just consulting, like on mobile homes, because I feel like I could consult on helping somebody that just bought a park or is looking at buying a park. And hey, this is what I ran into. And, especially if you're buying one in this state, I can help you here. I can help you there. I thought about consulting just on that, what I've personally gone through, because I can't consult on something I've never done. So yeah, I've thought about it. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, or I'm more of still in the stage of, hey, if I can help you out, great. Build that relationship, help you out, and if you can help me out down the road of something, great. We'll share information.
Gotcha. What do you think you do differently? Because obviously there's relationship building, and I see that. We have the same philosophy, and because I'm in marketing now, but I used to be in sales as well. My strategy in sales is very similar to yours as well. It's not about selling; it's about human-to-human relationship, like you're saying. Like whether I get the sale or not, I still got to talk to you, and I'm genuinely, really trying to get to know the person, and that's like. Worst case scenario, I didn't get to sell, but I still win because I built the relationship for you. So that's settled, and you do that too. But what do you think you do differently outside of just building relationships?
I think just generally just caring. It's not about getting the deal or in a relationship. It's just generally caring. Hey, if I can, whether we ever talk again or not, I'm fine with it. If I can help you one time, I've, felt like I've done my purpose. And I just go on and help the next person. So I think it's more just about generally caring that whoever I connect with and build relationships with, that if it's something that I've gone through and I can have them avoid going through it, I've helped not only myself, but I've helped somebody else. And it's just passing it down the line, because like especially like growing up, like we talked about, the your parents taught you graduate high school, go to college, get a job, work for 30 years. I didn't even have that. My mom was like, don't be like me, Obviously, don't get epilepsy and don't live in an apartment. I'm good. Okay, hopefully I don't get that, but we'll see what happens. But so I didn't even have that. My mom was just like, you just survive. Just we're surviving. Just when you get on your own, because I had a great family, so they picked up the slack and took my role with her. But her biggest thing was when you get out in the world was just try to survive. That's all you can do, and I guess that's what I did.
Brother, you're not surviving now, brother. You are living. I would like to say that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
you
It's been a big
you
change.
you are living, and I just want to say this: being raised, you being raised by a single mother, you must have an immaculate room or an immaculate house, because usually, like my friends who had who were raised by single mothers, like when you go in, like I know it's like you were raised by a single mother, weren't you? Like very clean.
Got some OCD going on.
But I got you. Because obviously your mother was a big inspiration, right? And your family as well. Who would you say is your mentor?
I would say, obviously there's the obvious one, but not me. My family is very, very religious. And I believe, but I wasn't like the person that goes to church every day. But I would have to say a lot of the things, the relationships and stuff, they got to come from God. There's just like there's things like there's no way I would pull that out. How did that work out? You know what I mean? Like you're at the point where you have no money and you're like, oh, wait for this house to close. Hope this house closes, and you're like, oh my God. And it's like, oh my God, they're going to extend it a week. Well, we can't survive another week. And then magically, it works out. Everything just worked out. You can't plan for that. You can't. That's nothing that you've done. That comes from higher up. So, but besides the obvious one, I would really my wife. Really, being a single mom of two boys, put yourself through nursing school. Took this leap with me, not knowing what's going to happen, and everything so far has been working out. So it takes a rock star to hang in there with that, especially with me. Crazy idea.
I got you. Well, that's a very unique answer, and like what you said, the obvious one pays more. Maybe we all have those remote mentors. How important is having a mentor? For anybody who's starting in real estate or entrepreneurship, to you, how important is it to have a mentor?
I think it's very important because it gives you someone to lean on that's been there and done that, or in the process of doing that. So you don't have to go into it alone. And I think that's a lot of the biggest thing is why people don't pull the trigger and get into real or entrepreneurship or whatever, is because they have to go into it alone. If you had a mentor, like when you join with Pace, you have a mentor. You have someone that for the first 6 months that you can just say, okay, hey, I'm scared, I'm nervous, what should I be doing? And not having to figure all that out alone, that's what makes it. That and the relationships that you have. Because nobody has to do, you don't have to do this alone. Look, anybody, you're not anybody on your show, person, that they want to come out and they want to connect them. I'll help anybody out as long as I can. It's some stuff I don't know, but I'll find an answer. I got enough connections in the community. I'll put you in the right path.
Gotcha. I'll take the connector fee. No, I'm just kidding. No. I agree with you on that. Simple as thing as like connecting people is. I genuinely, truly, I admire that belief, and helping really feels good. And
you don't know, they know. until you meet them, you have no idea who they know. So what you're looking for, you meet somebody and help them out, and they find out what you need. Oh, my cousin or this person or that person, and then that person knows people that you don't know. So it's just a never-ending helping hand down the line.
Right. Helping others. And it's not even like in a selfish way too, right? It's not like you're helping others so they can help you too. It's not that. And I see that. It's really just helping, right? Period.
You know,
Right. Not
helping
not
others.
right. And then like, it goes back to, but one thing stuck to me in what you said, like the faith in God thing. We don't have to get into that, but like the divine intervention, I would say, right? And it's like very
Oh yeah,
unique. And that was what you were saying. Very unique answer in finding a mentor in God, right?
yeah. I mean, there's just no other way to explain it. I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, what is it? Uh, Coincidence that it worked out that way. Maybe once, but when multiple, well, yeah, right. You're about to be like, oh my God, this is gonna be rock bottom. Oh, magically, you're not. That's not that's not coincidence.
Yeah. I like that. Well, let's do a quick, like quick fire question, but you can get into detail as well. So it's not like you're rushing time. What's your biggest win story in real estate?
Biggest win story would be, I think, getting our well, getting into the community, basis community, and getting our house here in Charlotte because we wanted to move, but houses in Charlotte are way more than houses in Syracuse. So it was like, how you gonna afford that? And it just being at the right place at the right time, knowing the right strategy was a cakewalk. So I would say that was.
How about your deal? The biggest win story in your deals and helping others as well. What was the biggest?
Uh, I think it would have to be, even though it was the worst, it could be also be the best. I think it was the part because I helped another member be able to come in and be an owner instead of just lending. And then we brought in another partner who wanted to just learn about RV parks, mobile home parks. So we're able to help two different people with one deal. And then obviously, the wholesaler got help because he got his fee. And really, it's our residents because they went from two owners of living like people really shouldn't be living because nobody comes and fixes anything to now we come in and now we're fixing everything.
Gotcha. Now, what's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge story? Right. What was the biggest like? Wow, it's a challenge.
I think the biggest challenge was probably the Messina deal where it was our first sub two deal, and in New York, and we and heard the horror stories about tenant laws in New York, and then when we found out that she basically had more rights than we did because she lived there for more than 5 years, we're like, we just got, we're never gonna get our money back out of this house, and then there's the divine intervention of, when you think you're gonna, you're down to the last straw and you're gonna have to, she had a child that had some issues too. So, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be that guy that, when you show up to the house after they've taken her, oh, that's the guy that had the cops show up and throw out the lady with her kid. Who wants to be that guy? You know what I mean? But for her just to, hey, okay, yeah, I'm. And it was funny because the attorney that we chose for the um, eviction also worked with that city's housing authority and was able to just get a place for her to move into. So that had some intervention there too. So once she found that out, it was just like, oh, okay, you're gonna help me move into a place too. Yeah, great, okay. So and then she just be able to quietly exit without anybody knowing what really
5 months
going
too.
on.
It's quick.
Yeah. Quick for New York. 5 months is quick. A year is quick.
Yeah, that's insane. 5 months to because usually you expect that those kind of situations. Like, yeah, you're right. A year is quick. 3 years is the expected, like 3 to 5.
Right.
You know, sometimes a lifetime. You'd expect a lifetime, right? So,
And then you just feel horrible too, because you're just like, okay. So if you really sit down and think about it, you just bought this house. This guy just sold his house out from under, whether she's the wife or the girlfriend, but the kid was definitely his. So he's gone, leaves the child, wife, girlfriend, whatever one she really is, and just gone. And now you come in and you're like, so now not only are you dealing with that, but you're dealing with her emotions on just being left high and dry in a place that she's lived for, 5-6 years with this guy. You just never know what you're gonna walk into. You never know. And then you guys now you're the guy that's taking over, but now you're also the counselor. And you're okay, now how can I help this person after helping this goofball? So
one after the other, I'd say, and like, I like that you're helping I'm sorry. I like that your concept of helping is not only helping for a good cause as well. It's also helping in those difficult times. You know,
right.
you have to consider those things, no matter how they are with you and with your dealings. At the end of the day, these are homes that we're dealing with, right? You know, homes are
Yeah,
like,
all people's lives. Yeah. I mean, that's really, it's not. It's about the person's life more than it is about the house. The house is always going to be there. People's lives are always going to be there.
I forgot whose guest told me that. We had a similar comment. I forgot the recent guest. He said real estate is not really about it's not about houses. It's about people. And I was like,
Right.
wow,
Right.
really? You share the same.
Should be called life estate.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a good one. I was about to say people estate, but like life estate is much better. Wow. Okay. I'll use that if you don't mind in one of these episodes. That's amazing. We'll try to use that. Well, now that's the quick fire stage, is the wins and challenges. Sticking to the challenges, because we've been talking about wins mostly, right? But in the middle as well. Now let's talk about your current state. Like, how big is your team? What are your long-term goals?
My team right now is me and my wife. We have a manager that runs our park in Mississippi with a maintenance guy. So I guess they're part of our team there. And then really it's just it's the community, because I can just always reach out if I need help. So really the team is everybody I've ever made a connection, because they're always there if I have a question. And I'm always there for them if they have a question. So really that's but team pretty much just be me and my wife are people that run their park.
Gotcha. Long-term goal.
I do want to get an RV park that, because they're different. I mean, everyone lumps RV and mobile home together, but they're nowhere near the same. Once you dive into a mobile home park, you're like, this is nothing like an RV park. I'd much rather have an RV park. I can just rent the land and not have to worry about any of that stuff. But so I'd like to get that, and I'd like to grow this. I'd like to get another couple of businesses that I can just turn around and say, look, at some point, I don't want to run these anymore. All I want to do is I want to give somebody else the opportunity that I had, to where the business is yours. You buy it from me, seller finance or whatever, and then you take the business. You do what you want to do with it to support your family, and I can just sit back and relax. So I want to grow the current business that I just bought and add a couple more to where I can turn around and give them to somebody else. Because my kids don't want to run a business. They're doing their own thing. they're like, we really don't even want the real estate. Why are you buying all these houses? We're just going to sell them. You guys, they're pretty blunt. Well, we just want the money. We don't want the house. Oh, good. Okay, I guess I'll stop buying houses.
No, they don't want to.
Right,
It's
right.
it's familiarity, kind of like one of those, like when celebrities have their kids, right? They don't want to do anything. Most of them don't want anything to do about their parents.
This generation of kids, I don't know what happened. To be honest, I mean, none of them want to drive till they're 30. I could. I mean, the minute I turned 15, can I get my license?
16.
Oh, wait, yeah.
When you were driving.
Right. I think our youngest son was like 21 when he got his license. Like, dude, go out and drink. You don't want to get your license? What's going on? I ain't worried about it. Because and everybody and one it's like they have a group of friends. One kid gets the license and then he just talks to everybody else. So one kid gets the car, everybody else pays for the gas.
They potluck on the gas, but like back then it was, you're right, 16 you would drive even though you're not allowed to get your license. By 18 or 19 you'd get your first car. You'd get your first,
Right.
Your first ragtime car, your raggedy car, but you loved that. You would love that rust bucket. So yeah, it's very different now.
Right. You within the shop or sitting in the driveway more than it was on the road. It was yours.
I gotcha. Well, it's different. It's different. Well, I hope you get to inspire more. Well, one of our goals too here is to inspire the younger people. If you notice, we're not talking about too deep into real estate because they can search it. They got technology. It's the same information is there, but this conversation, you don't get that. You don't get that from books.
Oh, we should put together a podcast where we have the guests be just somebody in junior, senior year in high school. Get five or six of them, right? And just be like, look, what's your goal? What do you want to do? And then just toss ideas around. Hey, you don't have to go to if you're not the college kid, you're gonna go out and get a job. Want you to get a job doing this? How many just in our community? How many people are trying to look for deals, right? Trying to find a property or trying to somebody out. Hey, you're bored in technology, all right? Did you know that if you just got on your phone for an hour a day and found a house somebody else bought, they'll pay you $1,000?
They go crazy over that. Today's economy.
Well, you want to be the kid that just absolutely does nothing. I mean, you want to, and I don't want to say it, but you want to be the one that lives in your parents' basement. You can make $1,000 a month on your phone, sitting in your parents' basement playing video games. You might as well get paid. It's in there, right?
Yeah, we're not to knock on anybody, but I get your point. I'm with you on this, right? But I think the point of that is really to help them, right? To help them to communicate.
Or something that you can do. You're not going to go into debt doing it, right? You make some money. You help yourself make money, but you also help somebody else get a deal or help that person. Maybe they're not helping somebody that's in foreclosure. And you find a house, now you help 2 people. Simply by just doing what you're going to do anyways, scrolling on your phone.
Gotcha. Well, I think what you're going to be about, here's a prediction. It's not driver's license or you're going to encourage, Sam. You're going to encourage realtor licenses. Yeah, I think that should be right.
Realtor licenses with creative. You just
yes. Oh, well, you don't need it. Yeah.
You need. No, we're going to start a program. We're going to start selling people licenses. That's what it is. You just need a license to talk to people.
Right. You don't need it, but I get you.
You don't need it, but that's what we'll call it.
One after the other, Sam. Well, that life estate, but before you get into it, you get the license, the people license first before you get to life estate.
And then you can join life estate. There you go.
That's cool. Well, one thing with that podcast that ran through my mind is maybe pair a youngin with a more experienced
Or a
person, right?
youngin with an oldest.
Yes, right. A youngin, exactly. I think that would be good, and like, because I guess there's a dialogue. Because that's the thing now. There's no dialogue. We from your concept of helping people, you're not going to help anybody by just complaining or pointing fingers, right? You got to take action and really communicate, talk to people. And we always say that because we had Brent Daniels on the show.
It's listening. Like, I've learned more. The less I talk and the more I listen, the better everything gets. So I'll be the first volunteer. You find me a couple of youngins that want to do something in mobile home or pressure washer businesses, because that's what's going to be my niche. So I'll teach them what I know.
That's a great idea. We'll try to look into that. But now, going back to you now, you love real estate. You like real estate. What do you love about it?
Oh, I like the freedom that it can provide down the road, and then I kind of like the everyday little challenges. I like trying to figure stuff out. Like, oh, this happened today. Okay, well, how do we fix it? How do we figure it out? I kind of like that, even though it's ties up a lot of time. But I kind of like trying to figure stuff out every day. To what does that say? Put the fires out.
What do you not like the most for now? I don't want to say not like, but if there was a process that you were doing now, because we like the talking to people and like getting the deals right, but just to help the audience would, again, we go from wins and challenges. Now we go from what they can learn. In your process right now, what would be like a godsend if that would go away? Whether it be emails or calls, what would that be?
I think the worry. I think the worry, the scariest thing, because like we're going through a process now where we've had some problem tenants and they stopped paying. So now, we have to evict them. But now you're like, okay, well, wait, we still have this note. And there ain't enough people in the park to pay the note. So now you got to figure that out. And I think it's just the worry of what happens if this happens. What are you going to do? Not having that plan, because you can't really, you can kind of plan for it, but like I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. I said, I love this line from Mike Tyson. This was my favorite Mike Tyson line. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah. Josh Barnett stole that too. So yeah, Josh Barnett from the UFC stole that line as well, right? You got a game plan until you get punched in the face. So that is Tyson. You're correct.
Yeah. So and you can't plan for a punch in the face. It just happens, and then you got to figure it out. So I think the scariest thing is the worry that what if something goes wrong? What if I didn't do it right? And not knowing ahead of time how to take care of it. That you just got to figure it out when it happens. Like I said, everything's figure outable. So.
Right. I think once you're in your end goal, I think you would have someone to do that for you, right? You'd have a manager to do that for you.
My ultimate future goal is to have everything automated to where it just happens whether I'm there or not. So if there's a problem when I go to bed, I wake up, it's already taken care of.
I will now, I don't want to take any more of your time, but to end this podcast, I always do this as well. We're trying to keep a tally. So, sorry, two things. So the first one is we're trying to keep a tally on what the answer of our guests will be in this question, okay? So in the perfect world, skill and confidence meld, right? As realtors or people who are dealing with the real estate, we do sales, we do marketing. You have to have the right balance of skill versus confidence. And there's no right or wrong answer to this question, but to you, Sam, which would you lean toward? If you only had one to start with, or again, lean toward, which is confidence?
Confidence all the way.
Why? Why so?
because confidence, if you're confident and you believe in what you're selling, you don't have to have sales. They start to believe you, and they're like, okay, I'm buying this no matter what. Because look at this guy. He tell me all about it. He's confident. He's not stumbling like, well, we have this many sales. If you start the sales, you can stumble through. You know what I mean? Or you can know your numbers, but if you don't believe it, they pick up on it, and you don't believe it for yourself. So if you're confident, I think confidence trumps sales 100%.
Gotcha. So you're on the confidence side versus the skills, right? So gotcha. That's very interesting. And now, what would be your last statement or your last message to our audience? Anybody who's listening or might be able to watch this, what would be your last statement?
I think my last statement would be your greatest and biggest skill is yourself. Believe in yourself and things will happen.
That's a great way to end the podcast. Sorry, that hit me.
That
hit me. Hey, that hit me. Well, thank you very much for your time, Sam. I really enjoyed it, truly enjoyed it. It was very relaxed, just a conversation between two brothers, and I really believe all our audience will get a lot of value with this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And one last thing is, when anybody doing real estate, all it is a conversation with some numbers. Look at it that way. That's it. That's all it is.
All right. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, Lee.